Death stops being an idea once you've stood beside enough of it. And sometimes the worst part about it isn't the person who died. It's the people who are left behind. I'm Matthew Heneghan, a generic white guy and a former paramedic with almost 17 years of experience. And today I want to talk to you about death. I know it may seem like a depressing topic, but it's a topic that none of us get to walk away from. Death is something that comes to all of us. There is no escaping it. There is no avoiding it. There is no pretending it's not real. In fact, I might argue that death is the realest thing within the human condition. And I say that not out of melancholy or to be macabre. I say that because it is the one thing that is unavoidable. And to give you some background on the amount of death that I've been around. I worked in a city service across 3 different provinces within Canada, and I did so for approximately 17 years until my diagnosis with post-traumatic stress disorder in 2017. I would go to anywhere between 3 to 5 dead bodies a month. So with my schedule of 4 on, 4 off, occasional overtimes, etc., when you tally up the number of dead bodies that I have seen, it's 1,000. 1,000 dead bodies. I have knelt beside them. I have stood beside them. I have removed them from vehicles. I have watched life leave. And I have heard last confessions. And the one thing that death has taught me is that, yes, when an individual dies, it is sad. It is hard to be around. There is an aura. There's a heaviness, a tangible but unexplainable heaviness in the air. But it's sadder for the people who are left living. And that probably goes without saying, because you know what funerals are. Funerals are for the living, not the dead. Memorials are for the living, not the dead. The dead aren't around. At least not in any way that we can measure or really prove. There's a notion, we like to pretend that our loved ones are still with us in some way or another. And I'm not here to say they're not. They might well be. But there is no real proof of it. And not that everything has to be proven. But when talking about death, the unavoidable consequence of life, it is important to speak earnestly, honestly, and openly. I experienced death not just within my profession. I experienced death in my personal life. When I was 14 years old, my brother's best friend came over to our house and confessed to being a part of a double homicide. My brother took him to the police station. He was arrested. When I was 17, I heard my mother scream downstairs, blood-curdling, horrible. And I ran downstairs to see what was going on. And she said, "Luke is dead, Luke is dead, Luke is dead." Luke was a family friend of ours. And one morning, in the south of Calgary, he went to a park. And he left a note at the base of a tree, and he hung himself. Our neighbor, his name was Bob, had a lot of health conditions, older guy. And for whatever reason, one night I couldn't sleep and I was just awake. I was probably around 17, turning 18 at this time. And I'm there watching mindless television. This is back in the 90s. I'm watching mindless television and the phone rings. And it's late. It's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And this is not cell phone. This is before the age of cell phones, before they were prolific. And I go running over and I pick up the handheld. Hello? And I just hear some gurgling and some moaning. But I recognized the timbre still. And I said, Bob? And some more moaning. And I said, are you in trouble? And he just said, yeah. And so I said, I'd be right there. And I ran upstairs and I told my mom, she's got to get up. I need the key to Bob's place. So I go running down, run over to Bob's place. He was having a stroke and he had vomited all over himself and I needed to help clear his airway. And this is before any medical training. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I phoned the ambulance and waited for them to get there. And that was the last time we ever saw Bob. We didn't make it. So I've been around death in varying forms and at varying different stages of my life. And when I was 34 years old, I lost my mother to suicide. Life had caught up with her and she'd had enough. And so she wrote a 4-page note on a spindle binder. And took a bunch of her prescription medications, and that was the end of that. And then 2 short years later, I lost my sister to suicide. I have lost friends that I served with in the military. I have lost friends that I served with as paramedic. Death is a constant reminder in my life. And so sometimes I fixate on it. And it's hard not to. I mean, the Stoics say it's good to think about death, but it's good to think about death in terms of life. To motivate you to enjoy your day, to enjoy your life, to enjoy the bounty that you have in front of you. And that's all true. And we absolutely should. And I try really hard to do that. But there are nights where I go to lay down to go to sleep and I am treated to a kaleidoscope of death. Different faces, different moments, different screams, different scenarios. And it is really hard to push back against because I can't forget these things. These things are part of my life. So it begs the question, what has death taught me? Well, death has taught me that life is incredibly fragile and that it is so finite and short that we should never get caught up on societal things. For example, I think we should normalize telling our guy buddies, our bros, that they look good. You know, when you see your buddy that you haven't seen in a while, maybe he's been working out, maybe he hasn't, maybe he's just wearing something good, and you say, hey, man, you know what? You look handsome as shit. We should be able to normalize that because we let life go all the way through, and we never say those things to our guy friends. Why? Stigma, perception, worry. Oh man, that's gay. Is it? Because I'm not saying it because I want to fuck him. I'm saying it because, he's my buddy and he looks good and that makes me feel good. Why can't I give him this compliment and let him feel good for a couple minutes? Because life is hard, man. And life as a guy, ladies, I know there's this huge societal divergence between man and women, and then what a man or a woman is, and the trends and the things. And I get it. Okay, there's a lot of, but men live a lot of time in isolation, a lot of time feeling invisible within their own home, a lot of time where their feelings aren't really top of topic discussion. And I'm not saying this as though it's your fault. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm just saying it's a reality of life as a man. The same as you face a lot of realities that men do not face. But we need to normalize showing affection to those we love family members, friends, guy friends, girlfriends. I have taken it upon myself to reach out to people I care about and to let them know I care about them, because I've seen those moments that slip away like smoke through your fingertips that you just can't grab or hold on to. And you never get those chances. I spoke to my sister 2 weeks before she died, and I never for a second thought that it would be the last time we spoke. And you know what kills me? What kills me the most is I was awake. I was up playing a video game. It was late. She'd phoned, and we were just chatting a little bit. And I had to go because my game was going to start. And so I said, "Hey man, I'll talk to you. You know, I'll call you in a few days. See how you're doing. See how things are." And we said our goodbyes. And then I went and I played my video game. And then life happened. The next day I think I had therapy. So I went up to therapy, and then therapy was what it was. And so I had a day of recovery, and then I'll call her. And I never did. And I get a phone call 2 weeks later from my other biological sister indicating that Lisa was transported to the hospital by ambulance. And it didn't look good. And it wasn't good. And so life has taught me that it is too fragile for ego. Ego and hubris have no place in life. In fact, it only ever ruins life. Ego serves only self, but it never serves you in a beneficial way. It may give you a temporary dopamine fix, but it won't do anything to strengthen relationships. It won't do anything to cement your status in life. It won't do anything other than cause a rigidity within you that may make you miss opportunities. So, what has death taught me? That life has no place for ego. That hubris serves no purpose in the moments that we're alive. Let go of ego, man or woman, whatever. Let go of ego. Especially, like in relationships, for example, we all fight, and sometimes you may feel you're right, or you just want to be right, or you're wrong, but you found a loophole to try and be right in a different section, so you bring up something else. Because you just don't want to stop, pause, look at the person, and be like, you know what? You're right. And mean it. And then say sorry. Because those are hard things for us to do. Nobody wants to be the one in the wrong, because everybody in a sense, in some semblance, or at some different times, whether it's constant or ephemeral, believes they're the main character. And some people equate being wrong with a character flaw. It's not. It's human. We're human. We're allowed to be wrong. But if we spend all this time arguing to be wrong and right, or wrong and strong, as they say, we just hurt relationships that could be gone tomorrow. When we go to bed at night, there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee that we wake up in the morning. None. Anything can happen. You can have a clot in your brain, you don't know it, but it bursts overnight. Anything can happen. Life is too short to hold grudges. Life is too short to live with hate in your heart. Life is too short to think that the narratives we see on social media are real. Life is too finite to not just be the best version of yourself that you can be, while knowing you're going to make mistakes, while accepting that you're not going to be perfect. But it's about progress. I've been so imperfect many different times in my life. There are videos all over my channel where I talk about my imperfections, about my alcoholism, about my DUI, about my interpersonal relationship issues, my disciplinary issues when I was in the military, and the list goes on. I'm not a perfect person. I never will be. I never was. but I am someone who has been around death more than I would like. But it has taught me some things. And one of the biggest things it has taught me is to share a little love. And so that's what I'm doing here today. I love you guys. And I mean that. People that come here to listen to this story, to listen to these little things that I do, I appreciate you. I mean that. I sincerely mean that. Stephen, I'm still not sure where you are, whether it's Australia or New Zealand. I'm not 100% sure. I think you've told me in the comments, but I have the memory of a goldfish. So, but, you know, I sincerely appreciate you. I really do. I think that you have a lot of things to contribute to this world, and you have brought a lot of insight within your comments on my YouTube that actually helped me think of things to talk about. In fact, this topic right here was partly motivated by my ponderances on some of the things that you've written. I know you've lived a life. I know you've seen some things. I know you've endured some things, and I know that you're living through some things. And I appreciate that you're here. And I really appreciate that you give me your time. And CF Medic, I see you too in the comments. I'm assuming CF means Canadian Forces. If that's the case, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for taking the time to comment. Thank you for taking the time to serve our country. And thank you for doing what you can to make the world a little better of a place. And there was a lady that wrote, at least I think it was a lady, I'm not sure, that wrote on my other post about the NDP debacle. And she's like, yeah, I hope you're a moderate, not just some far right-wing nut bar. Confession. I have some right-leaning views. I have some centrist views. I have some left-leaning views because I'm human. I don't fit neatly into a little package. I don't fit in the middle or on the sides. That's not me. They try to put us there. Social media especially tries to put us there because if we're in these packages, well, then they know who to market to. And the people that make money off of our rage, they keep making money. But I don't play that game. I am not a conservative. I'm not a liberal. I'm not an NDP. I'm not a Green Party. I am Matthew Joseph Heneghan, former paramedic, former Canadian Forces medic, alcoholic, writer, podcaster, stepfather, husband, friend, idiot. I am multifaceted, folks. And my guess is, so are you. Thanks for your time today. Be well, be safe. Above all else, keep talking to each other. I'll see you on the next one.